I was talking with someone in town recently who lives here but doesn't go to our church. He doesn't go to any church. And I always like to know about the reasons why. There could be so many, and it always helps me to learn more about life and about faith. I often, when I'm talking to somebody, ask them if they tell me they don't go to church, were you raised with it? Was it something you grew up with? What made you stop practicing? Was it something that happened in the church? Could be many examples of that. Or was it that there was something lacking? You were looking for something that wasn't offered? What is it that causes you not to go? Is there something that, if it were to be offered at church, you would say, now that's what I'm looking for? And in this conversation, he said, I know there's a God, and I want my own relationship with God. He said, I don't want anybody telling me what to believe. And I think we could all relate to that. That doesn't seem like a strange thing to want. He wants to have his own relationship. He doesn't want people telling him what to believe. And he crossed my mind recently when I went to get a gift for someone at Macy's. Because I don't know if you were there this season, but their advertising campaign was on banners all over the store. When I walked in, everywhere I looked in Macy's was the word believe on a big banner in every department. And my first thought was, what do you want me to believe? Believe in what? And then my second thought was, I wonder how that guy would feel about this. I didn't know what they meant by believe, so I went online and found a statement from the president of consumer marketing. And it said, believe is inspirational. It expresses everything we treasure about the holiday season. We at Macy's would like to inspire all of America to believe. So I wonder what that guy would think about that. It's understandable that we don't want anyone telling us what to believe, but if we don't want a church doing it, do we really want somebody who's trying to sell us something doing it? So, what is Christmas asking us to believe? What does this feast ask of someone? What is the belief that we're supposed to have? And I think maybe the easiest way for me to understand it is to look at it kind of like Christmas being a pair of glasses that we put on that help us to suddenly see things a little more clearly. This is the new lens that helps us to see that God is with us on the journey of life. That there's nothing that we could go through that would be foreign to God. There's nothing that we would experience that God wouldn't be able to understand. Because if it didn't happen to Jesus himself, he probably witnessed it in his mother, or he healed somebody from it, or he comforted them, or he raised the dead of the grieving. He was part of every human experience. And so we get this new way of seeing that whatever we're going through, it's not foreign to him. But if that's all Christmas was, then we could come once a year and get the glasses and then go out and face another year with this new, better way of seeing. But if your life is like mine, these glasses, they get a lot of schmutz on them. My dad wore glasses his whole life, still wears them. And my memory of him as a child is him huffing on them all the time. And then always wiping them. Because there was always something smudged on them. Maybe he touched them with his pinky, or maybe it was just humid, or maybe my brother and I were talking with cottage cheese in our mouths and he had a little white dot right in the center of his vision. But so he needed to huff on them and wipe them all the time. That's how glasses are. And that's how these glasses are too. You might walk out of here today feeling like, I get it. God is with me. I can do this. Let's take on a challenge. And then the first thing that's probably going to happen, if you're gathering with family today, you're going to get a smudge. You're going to get schmutz on your glasses, guaranteed. So, what do you do about this? Because just a week of facing life is going to get your vision all distorted again. So that is the role of faith, and it's the role of church. What we do when we come here is we take off these now distorted lenses, and we go to the scriptures and we spray them. And we use the wisdom of our ancestors, this inspiration that was handed from God to us, and we spray the lens with them. And then we have a homily that helps us to wipe them, because the wisdom that we're getting is pretty rich, and it's 2,000 years old in some cases. Some of the passages are 4,000 years old. And they all apply, but sometimes you need help seeing how. And so that's how we wipe them. And then the Eucharist polishes them, because the Eucharist makes it impossible for us to leave here thinking God's not with me, God's not part of my experience. It's impossible to think that, because God comes into your body, into your physical presence, and into your spirit, and fills you from the inside out. Body and blood, soul and divinity. You walk out of here not only having heard the scriptures, not only having thought about it and reflected on it through the preaching, but then you're polished with that incredible, real presence that goes right into you. And then we go out. And suddenly, we can see more clearly. We can face things that we couldn't face before. So on this Christmas morning, a good question for you would be, what is the schmutz that is on your glasses right now? We all have some. Maybe it's a relationship problem. Maybe you've got a recent ex. Maybe you're in the middle of a relationship that's falling apart. Maybe there's some kind of rupture going on that is so upsetting. Maybe it's someone else in your life. There is a loved one who's doing something self-destructive. Maybe there's an addiction situation going on, and you are in anguish over it. Maybe it's something at work. There's been layoffs, or you've got a toxic boss, and every day you go in and your vision's getting distorted. You know, for a lot of us, just regular life, the commute to work is enough to distort your vision. The difficulty of getting into the grind. But there's people here with harder things than just that. There are people here right now who have lost somebody, and this Christmas is excruciating. There's people here I know that have cancer and are wondering what the future holds. There's people here right now who have chronic pain. They just have to manage it every day. They have pain that's not going to go away. And others have the emotional pain. Some people are trying to look through the lens with depression all over it, or with anxiety all over it. They say it's an epidemic in our culture. How are they supposed to see clearly? So all of us have schmutz that needs to be dealt with. And we're just a week away from a year that sounds like it's from a science fiction movie. 2020? Could it be? How do you want 2020 to be? How would you like it to be better than 2019? What new vision do you need for your life for that? Both the church and Macy's would like you to believe, but the difference here is there's nothing for sale. The basket is going to go by today, but if you have nothing to put in it, don't worry, we're not even going to know. It's an anonymous basket for a reason. And if you are not Catholic, but it helps you to be here, it helps to get the schmutz off, we want you to come. And we're not going to ask you to be Catholic. You don't have to become Catholic. Maybe someday you'll feel that urge, but that's up to you. We love that. We would love to accompany you that way. But in the meantime, if you want to just come forward for a blessing at communion time, that's a beautiful way to connect. If you're Catholic but you've never been confirmed, we would love to help you with that, but there's no pressure at all. There's a good chance we don't even know whether you are or not. So let that just be a personal choice that you make, and then let us know how we can accompany you. The wonderful thing about coming here is that there is nothing for sale. Everything's very valuable, but it's already been paid for by the one whose birthday we celebrate today. Merry Christmas.